everyone, welcome to my first ALA assignment, and today I'm going to be talking about dating and accounting and how scope limitations and audit opinions can mirror dating. And yes, you think I'm a boring accountant, but I do know things about dating which you probably didn't expect, because you probably think all accountants are boring, which may or may not be true, but I'll prove to you that we're cool and that we can compare boring things in accounting to cool things like dating. So first of all, what are audit opinions? There's two subtypes, and the second one has three additional opinions. The first one is an unmodified or unqualified opinion. Basic, the financial statements look good, and there can be small issues that are considered to be not material, and they can be present as long as the auditor believes that they genuinely are not material and that they have no impact on the financial statements at all. And there's three types of modified opinions. So the first one is qualified, means that the statements are overall good, but there's one issue, which is either a scope limitation, which is something that information that they do not have, or departure from the generally accepted accounting principles gap. So if there's one issue that is material but not pervasive, meaning it doesn't completely ruin the credibility and trustworthiness and completeness of the financial statement, that is considered a qualified opinion. The next one is an adverse opinion, that you can just clearly see the financial statements are misleading. And the scope limitation or gap departure is both material and pervasive. And the final is a disclaimer of opinion. So a scope limitation is preventing the auditor from even forming an opinion, meaning that more information is needed. So why is this even important in the first place, and why are these audit opinions so important? Well, the users of financial statements, you can kind of think about them as people looking for a partner. When you're looking at a financial statement, you're using it to make an informed investment decision and potentially spend a large amount of your money in order to get a return on your investment. So you want to make sure that the information presented by the company is accurate and complete, meaning there's nothing missing, and that this information that they're telling you is accurate. If they're telling you, oh, we've been making a profit year after year, we're making more money, we're growing, you want to make sure that's true, because if you're putting your money in this company, you want to lose your money. Same with a partner. You want to make sure that you know things about a partner that wouldn't make you incompatible. You want to make sure you know everything about them in order to see whether or not you guys are compatible. You don't want to find out something later down the line that makes you two completely incompatible, because then you've wasted time and you could potentially enter into a toxic or bad relationship. Well, but you might be asking me, aren't accountants boring and lame? How would you know anything about dating? I swear with this analogy, I will prove to you that accountants are actually really cool and that we're not nerds like this one in the picture. That we're actually cool and we can laugh and have fun with our coworkers. Those are some accountants there in that stock image. All right. So how is financial statement auditing anything like dating? One's boring accounting and the other's cool. Um, well, investors in the stock market are kind of like those in the dating market. They're both looking to find companies and people that match their preferred traits and that they can trust. Maybe you're looking to invest in a tech company or a company that's made small but consistent gains year after year. You're very risk averse. That's like someone that's looking for specific traits, someone that has the same hobbies, interests as them, same goals in life, same sense of humor. And audit opinions are kind of like opinions about a person. While this often no perfect match in both auditing and dating, there can be people that are perfectly compatible and a company that has perfect financial statements to tell you everything you want to know. But sometimes there can be one issue, but it doesn't make or break a relationship, but it is significant. And sometimes these issues can be too severe and make two people incompatible. And sometimes you don't have enough information about a person, you have to learn more, which could mean that they're withholding this information from you, because then it'll become adverse, or you just haven't found it out yet. No one wants to make a bad investment or be in a bad relationship, so identifying these factors early is key. You can see people arguing on the right. You don't want to be like that. And maybe if those two people arguing had better information about each other going into the relationship, that they would not be in that position. So the first type is a non-qualified or modified opinion. So with regards to financial statements, you've been given all the information you need, and you can confidently see the financial statements are trustworthy and that there are no material issues. So there could be some issues that don't affect the financials, but the auditor has to believe that they're not material at all. So an auditor might say, in my opinion, the financial statements present fairly. In my opinion, the financial statements present fairly the excuse me, one more time. In my opinion, the financial statements present fairly the financial position of this company. And in dating, you know all the information about a potential partner and can confidently say that you trust them and believe you two are a good match. I confidently say this person is a good fit for me. I trust them and I see it's working out in the future. And there might be some small immaterial issues that mean you guys are like 99.9% compatible. Like, he prefers apples while I prefer oranges, but that doesn't matter. That's not, for most people, they're not going to care about that, and that's just silly, if anything. All right, so a qualified opinion in financial statements is either something that you couldn't look at, that's material, but it's not pervasive, it doesn't ruin the financial statements, or something that went against those generally accepted accounting principles that I talked about earlier. So I wasn't able to properly assess and record the company's accounts receivable because management didn't let me see it, and while its material isn't pervasive, it doesn't affect the financial statements overall. Or this company, they mess up their research costs, which it does violate accounting principles, and it's material, but it's not pervasive. And in dating, this could mean that there's an issue that's significant to you, but you still feel you're overall compatible with them. So let's just say you know this, you know it, and you know that it's wrong, it goes against what you believe in. That they chew really loudly, which you think is annoying, but that doesn't ruin the relationship overall. Or you don't know if they like going to the gym, and going to the gym is a very important hobby to you. So it's not a deal breaker, but you're not sure, and it could be significant if it's true. So an adverse opinion, the issue is material and pervasive and has a severe effect on the financial statements, and they're not trustworthy. So an auditor might say, I believe these financial statements do not represent the company's current financial position and are not trustworthy. And in dating, there's a serious issue that was either withheld from you and you discovered, or you just plainly discovered it, and it prevents you from being compatible. So this person lied about having a job and they still live with their parents, and you don't want to be with them. Or they're extremely rude and disrespectful, and you are not compatible with them. So in both cases, something was either withheld that was vital to trust, or something severely in violation of guidelines, either your personal dating guidelines or GAP principles, was discovered. So now a disclaimer opinion. In financial statements, not enough information was able to be obtained, so the auditor cannot form an opinion because not enough information is present. So the company, if they didn't let them see important documents, maybe that there was genuine, like, you don't know why, presuming that they don't want you to see them, but you don't know that. So you can't get an opinion because you just don't have enough information. And in dating, your potential partner omits information about parts of their life, so you can't determine whether or not you're compatible with them. So someone in the dating market might say, they refuse to tell me anything about their job or where they live. I don't know what to think. It could be that maybe their job, they have a job, they're just embarrassed about it, or they make a lot of money, or it's a secret job, or like they can't talk about it. You don't know this, but in both cases, these are both extremely important, and you can't go forward without knowing this. So in both cases, you have to make sure you find out this information sooner than later, before you trust the financial statement or you go further with this partner. So what are the consequences for misleading financial statements or misleading information from a partner? With financial statements, this could cause users to make uninformed investment decisions, which could lead to them losing their money, which no one wants. And it could tank the company's reputation if it's found out that they've put out misleading financials. And in dating, if you don't have enough information, this can result into entering a relationship with someone that you aren't compatible with, which is not what you want, which can lead to toxic relationships, bad marriage, and a whole host of problems that come with those things. You want to be like those people on the bottom who are dancing in the forest and happy. That's what you want to feel like when you invest in a stock, too. You want to feel like you and Nvidia or Microsoft are just dancing together because you're making so much money. All right, to wrap it up, when you're making an important decision in life, you must make sure you have access to all relevant information that is honest and correct. And if you're making a choice to invest in something, be it a partner or a company, you have to make sure you can trust what they're telling you. That's the most important aspect of establishing a long-term and trustworthy relationship. So you can end up like that stock just going up over time, green, 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 or that happily married couple who love each other and trust each other. That's both what you want to be. So overall, you can kind of think of audit opinions and things like scope limitations as if you're dating and you're looking for a potential partner, and then you make sure you trust them and you know everything that there is to know about them. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to talk to you guys from the next ALA.